we all know, everyone in this room knows who the true enemies of free speech are in this country. And it is such an obvious distraction, the whole fake culture wars. And as it's been mentioned, it's straight from the Trump playbook, dividing communities, turning people against each other. And yeah, it goes back decades, this right-wing media that dominates everything, that has our mainstream politicians so sort of scared rabbits in the headlights, just too frightened to say anything. I mean, we've seen, it's been so obvious with Keir Starmer in the last few weeks, just desperately trying not to upset that section of media. And that's trying to win a battle that you can never win. We've got to be, as has been mentioned, we've got to be better than that. We've got to be stronger than that, and we've got to stand up. And I think there are two things going on. It is a distraction. It's used to distract from the realities and the things they don't want us to talk about. But I think someone else has also mentioned this. It is a certain section of society, and yes, white men of a certain age. I think some of them are becoming aware that they are losing control. They're losing control of the narrative, despite having the weight of the press behind them. People are talking about things. People are questioning things. People are taking to the streets. People are toppling statues. And it's making some people very, very uncomfortable, I think. But it's, I mean, we've got to look at when the Conservative government appoints a free speech champion. I mean, it's positively Orwellian. You just couldn't make it up. And the people that they're talking about, and it's been highlighted already how there isn't this crisis on campuses. But what we also need to look at as well is some of the other forces behind this. Nick mentioned, I think it's the same Open Democracy article about this, but they talked about the ADF, the Alliance Defending Freedom, secretive right-wing lobbying movement with very, very dodgy backers. They're over here lobbying this government, and they've got a very strong anti-LGBTQI plus rights agenda, very strong anti-pro-choice agenda, and it's all been hidden in this sort of standing up for free speech. We're not being allowed to say what we want. So we've got to be very, very vigilant about that as well. It's not just the caricatures of the Toby Youngs and the James Foxes sort of throwing the toys out the pram because they can't say offensive things when they feel like it. But we also, one thing I would touch on as well, people are being denied a voice, but it's not the people that the media are talking about. I was on because we're in the run-up to the Senate elections, and I was on a youth-led hustings the other day, and one of the other politicians on the panel, I won't name names of parties, but has a very problematic record of saying anti-trans things in public. And it's a very good debate, covered lots of areas. And then at one point, someone asked about LGBTQI rights and young people. And a young trans activist on the call changed their profile picture to the flag with trans rights or human rights on. I didn't find out until afterwards, sort of social media storm afterwards, that person was removed by the organisers of this debate. And this is a very good organisation that was putting this debate on, but there was that fear, I can only imagine, there's that fear of offending a politician. So that young person's voice was removed. So free speech is under threat, like people have already identified here on this panel. It's the free speech of the marginalised and the oppressed that is under threat, not the powerful and the rich.